Ryan and Brian are frustrated that no one seems to know how to fix their new camper van.
We don't want a payout. We don't want a replacement van. We want this van, and we want it to work.
Welcome to the channel. I'm Liz. I get people the help they need when they're stuck in an RV nightmare. That help includes factory repairs, extended warranties, and over $2 million refunded to customers. This is all thanks to you for liking, subscribing, and sharing, making this channel the force that it is. Today, you can feel the frustration when Ryan and Brian share their story of how their Jayco terrain camper van has been in the shop since April 2025. And I'll have Jayco's response later in the video.
Brian and I were doing a lot of day trips from Boston up to the White Mountains. We were hiking a lot. We rented a Revel. We really liked our time in the Revel. That kind of cemented it for us. So we settled on the Jayco terrain because of the smaller footprint, the ability to have alternator charging, being able to really boondock, be off the grid.
This is our first camper.
The best price we could find was at the Great American RV Superstore in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We actually flew down to Atlanta, drove out, picked up the RV there, and drove it home to Boston. That drive home took us about 3 days. We spent 2 nights at Harvest Hosts where we were able to test it out, see how the bed felt, see how the fridge worked.
Once we had it in Boston, we even took it out a few times. We found a campground that was open year round. We were so excited to have it, even though it was still snow on the ground around here. Then once the summer came, the trail started to become a little more hikeable for us. We started spending more time in New Hampshire in the White Mountains. We went up there pretty much every weekend all summer, just enjoying our time in the van. Throughout that year though, we found a few minor issues. The light bar didn't work, the lights on the awning didn't work, and the alternator would squeal kind of when you first turned it on after a night of camping.
It never impacted anything, except it was quite loud when we'd be driving out early out of the campground in the morning and probably disturbing people. That happened kind of that first summer we noticed that.
And we had a few recalls that we needed to do on the battery. I found Pete's RV in Connecticut, where some people online had success with the recalls. The recalls were a little complicated. Some places were doing better work than others. So we brought it there. They were able to reproduce the light bar and the lights on the awning. They fixed those, and they did all the recalls, but they could not reproduce the alternator squealing issue. That was in the winter 2024 to 2025. We were ready to take it on our first big trip, which was in March of 2025. We were going to drive to Big Bend National Park on the Mexico-Texas border. A few days into the trip, we finally hit some warm weather. Go to turn the AC on, and it is blowing hot. The AC is not working.
We were relying on the AC while we were in Texas and Arkansas because we had our dog with us. So losing the AC was like a pretty big impact to our trip. We did end up having to board our dog while we were hiking in Texas, and we weren't able to do some of the other things we had planned due to losing the AC.
Sitting on the beach without having the escape of a air-conditioned unit was kind of just not going to be enjoyable for us. So we ended up taking a different route home. We called Pete's. We let them know, brought up the alternator again because that was still happening even though they couldn't reproduce it before. And we had a leak during a heavy rainstorm on our back window in late April. They took it in. They were finally able to reproduce that alternator sound. They were able to reproduce the AC being bad, but they could not reproduce the water leaking. I went and picked it up from the dealership. I got there, I turned on the AC, saw it was blowing cold, turned on the van, could see that the alternator was charging the battery, it was not making noise, things looked good. I took it and drove it home. It's about 2 hours. Right when I got home, the lights wouldn't turn on in the RV, which all that worked at Pete's. The battery monitor was blank, which it's pretty much never blank unless you fully turn off the battery. So I looked, there's a Facebook group or the Jayco terrain. I found people who had similar issues, and there's battery reset procedure. I was trying to go through that. There's a reset button, and while you would hold the button, the screen would come up, but the moment you let go of it, it would shut off. Basically, the battery wouldn't turn fully on. It was a Saturday. I left messages for this person at Jayco/Patrick Industries, which they're the company that supplies the whole battery system for the Jayco terrain. I heard back early on Monday morning. I did some troubleshooting with them, and they basically were like, yeah, the battery's toast. I got them in touch with Pete's to get the battery order process going, and the first battery was ordered. These batteries are expensive. They're valued at about $10,000. We aren't able to drop it off until a week later via Pete's schedule, and they don't look at it for another few days after. They go to try and replace the battery. This battery that they just got is dead on arrival. they have to start process to get another replacement battery. And this is mid-July. We let them know that we have a big trip planned for September. We were starting to get concerned about that, even though we're a couple months out. During this time too, we're losing our summer. We bought it to go up to the Whites during the summer on top of that, and we're losing week after week of campgrounds that are just weekend trips, but they start to add up real quick. The second battery comes in early August. They already have the RV, so they start work on it a few days later. When they put the new battery in, the second battery now, this one's also not working. It's at this point that Pete's looked into it a little more. They discovered that a 200 amp fuse to the battery had blown, and the newly installed alternator had catastrophically failed.
And there was still no explanation as to why that happened. We were kind of confused what's going on. They've finally gotten the logs off of the computer in the van, and there's no real explanation as to what's going on. They did order the second alternator replacement. This took a while. We had dropped the van off in April, and now we're at the end of August, and we're on our second alternator replacement and our third battery replacement.
Now, if you're shopping for a used RV, you'll definitely want to replace your mattress. But did you know if you're shopping for a new RV, those mattresses can be like cardboard, even if you spend over $100,000. For the last 4 years, I've been sleeping on an RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding. I used to wake up feeling stiff and sore, and I thought, well, that's just because I'm getting older. But ever since I've had the Brooklyn Bedding mattress, I wake up pain-free, refreshed, and I feel great. I have the Aurora Luxe, which has a built-in chill pad, and I love it. RV Mattress has free shipping right to your door. It's super easy to set up, and it's fun to watch it puff up. They have a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty. If you're interested in an RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, just go to rvmattress.com/LizAmazing, put in the coupon code LizAmazing, and you'll save 30%.
We were scheduled to be leaving on our big trip on September 11th of 2025, so we were right up against the time there of getting this alternator in place and hoping, but not even sure, that replacing the alternator again was going to fix the issue, especially after the first replacement had catastrophically failed. That next alternator did arrive September 8th. It was installed on the same day. It did not fix the issue. The alternator is still not charging the battery. But we asked Pete's, is it possible to turn the alternator just off and allow us to use the van using shore power and just plug it in at campgrounds so that we can go on our trip? They confirmed that that was okay, and we did pick our van back up with no alternator charging, which did impact our trip pretty heavily. We had to, every 3 or so days, pay for a campground. When we picked up the van to bring it on our trip to Utah, they actually charged us for the 200 amp fuse that had blown due to the catastrophically failed alternator, the first replacement. This amounted to about $300 with like parts and labor. We were apparently responsible for this despite still being under warranty and everything else being covered. We did not believe that we should have been liable for that cost, but we had to pay it if we wanted to take it and go on our trip.
After we got back from the trip, we dropped the van off again on Halloween. There was another battery there waiting to be installed. They put the new battery in and they got alternator charging to work, and the battery seems to be working fine. But now the alternator is humming when the van is off. When the van is on, it is starting to get really, really hot and even smoke. Pete's, Jayco, and APS, American Power Systems, the alternator manufacturer, are going back and forth on trying to figure out why this is happening. To them, nothing seems wrong. The wiring is all turning correct values. They're doing voltage readings and all this stuff that is above me, but everything is coming back to numbers that they say are expected. Clearly, it's not working right if the alternator is humming and smoking. The original alternator we had that was squealing a bit, that one was never smoking or whining, and that one they put back in because they still had it on hand, and now that one is whining and smoking as well, like the new one. It looks like it's not the alternator, since this alternator that wasn't experiencing these issues before now is. Basically, no one can figure out what the real problem is.
The computer's misconfigured maybe, but it's all stuff we don't understand, and we don't know the right questions to ask when all the experts are saying, looks good on our end. We're like, so who's going to fix this?
Jayco actually halfway through 2024 changed completely away from the battery system that is in our model and all the previous models. The Facebook group, over half of the stuff on there is about the batteries and the alternator. And obviously I don't know for sure that that's why they went away from it, but that seems to be the number one issue affecting all the Jayco terrains up until mid 2024. The other big thing for us is we have yet our third big trip planned, which is supposed to be at the start of February. At this point, we really have no expectation that we're going to have a working van for that trip. I think I would have maybe taken some of the issues that people were having in the Facebook group at a higher value level than I did. I think I had the mindset that, oh, these people probably just did something wrong or whatever, and this won't happen to me, and then it did. Our RV has pretty much been at Pete's in Connecticut since April 2025. When our van works like it did that first year, we love it. We love everything about it. We love being in it. We love using it. We love everything it enables us to do. We just kind of want it back to that place.
We lost an entire year of trips. I lost an entire year of our warranty while it was in service. We just want to go camping again. We don't want a payout. We don't want a replacement van. We want this van, and we want it to work. We want Jayco to allow us to come to the facility in Indiana, and we want them to fix this van, and if possible, before our trip in February.
Our warranty expires in February, and we're worried that even if it gets fixed in time, that we're going to roll it off the lot, and a few months later, after our warranty's expired, that things are going to start breaking again related to the battery system, and we might lose another $10,000 battery, and then we'll have to pay for it out of pocket. So we want an extended warranty to cover that, so that if that happens, we aren't left high and dry.
Ryan and Brian are going to go on their big trip, and then Jayco has agreed to transport their rig back to the factory for repairs. It will likely be in the shop for 60 days. I reached out to the top people at Jayco and I asked it for an extended warranty of at least a year, preferably 2 years, and $30,000 in compensation to make up for all this time of not having their RV, the loss, the depreciation in value, and of course the canceled camping trips. Jayco responded right away, and the extended warranty and the compensation is under discussion, so I'll have to keep you posted. What do you think Jayco should do? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't heard, I now have a print version of my RV Buyer's Guide. This just came out. Both guides, the digital and the print version, review over 200 RV brands, what's recommended, what to run away from, and this is crowdsourced by you, my audience of over 200,000. Now, the digital version is great for online research. It's clickable, it's searchable. The printed version you can take with you to RV shows and to the RV dealer. You can take notes. I'll have links to both in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.